Hey everyone, this is Sean with Chronicle, the training manager for our freight brokerage and trucking company. And in today's video, I'm going to discuss Shipley.com and how the freight broker can get started with using Shipley to generate freight directly from shippers. So we're going to hop right into this. To get started, you would go up here at the top right corner of the page. There's that button that says, "Are you a shipping company?" Once you click it, it brings you to this page where you can go ahead and click the sign up button. And then once you click that button, it brings you to the page where you can enter your information to get signed in. Now, we at Chronicle already have a login, so we're going to go ahead and just get signed right in. I got it on the other page. I thought I had it open already, but I did not. So bear with me 1 minute. All right. So once you get logged into shipley.com, the first page that you're going to see is your dashboard. And here on the dashboard, it shows you all of the current active quotes that you have, right? So the quotes that you have already put out there, currently active, you can go inside of here and review them all to make sure that, if there's any questions that are outstanding from the customer, that you've answered them and that you're just mostly up to date with anything that's in there. On the left-hand side of the page, you have your current quotes, which brings you right back here. Right. You have your accepted quotes, ones that you have won. This is a new account, so we don't have any that have been won yet. Those that have been unsuccessful, which you've got a couple of those. Completed quotes. If you're watching any shipments, you can watch them just to see how things go without actually bidding on it. Saved searches from the search area. You can create searches and then save them and then run them from time to time and so forth. Right. And then up here, I'm going to go back to the current quotes page, the dashboard. But up here, you have this 40 out of 50. So once you reach 50 bids, Shipley will pay you 25 bucks, right? So it's a really cool way for them to get you going, to get you started, and encourage you to begin doing placing bids, which is going to in turn generate you some money. Because even if you're able to get 5, 10 out of 50 bids, then that's really going to generate you some decent profit. So they pay you 25 bucks. As you see here, 40 out of 50 quotes place. We're so confident you'll find value in Shipley that we're going to pay you $25 just for placing your first 50 quotes on the site. And then it's directly deposited to your account too, which is really cool. So to place those quotes, to get started, you would go up here to search shipments. All right. And I just noticed something. We're going to go back real quick to go back here. Okay, so my Shipley here. So our name right now is Cronus Fratus, right? You Shipley won't let you use your actual company name, and you do not have to use, like, if you're one of our brokers, you don't have to use Chronicle Freight or anything like that. You can use whatever name that you come up with or whatever your business name might be, but it can't be an actual business name that can be recognized or searched online. Otherwise, they'll flag it and they'll shut your account down. So we're Cronus Fratus. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go back to the search shipments page. In here, what you first see is the options of search. We have the pickup and the delivery location. Here it just says country. Uh, there's no reason in really changing. I don't even think it lets you go like city and state. Yeah, so over here you have more specific state searches, but we always just do country searches, the entire nation, because as a broker you have access to freight nationwide. So there's no reason there's no reason to limit yourself on the area that you're operating in. So United States to United States, and then here you have all the different options of the type of cargo that we can search for. So furniture, boxes, cars, motorcycles, freight, general freight. If you're not sure what to begin searching for, or if you think that this is too many options, it's convoluted, then you can certainly just stay within our suggestion, our specialty of hotshot freight, which is freight that's 20,000 pounds, 40 feet or less. And so to search for that kind of freight, you can, maybe just search for boats or just freight in general. But to show you the options that are available, we're going to keep everything here wide open for the search. So if you were to modify it, or if you were to go do anything advanced for your search as far as dates, once you're done, you can click search and all of your options are going to populate right down here at the bottom, right? So we're going to go ahead and just kind of look through, see what's available. Like I say, we do 40-foot hot shot freight. So 40-foot flatbed hotshot freight. So I'm gonna be looking for freight that's suited for that kind of a trailer, something that can go on a flatbed. You see here they've got a longhorn bull and calf. I mean, I've seen on those videos where people will strap down a cow to a trailer, but we ain't doing that around here. So we're not even gonna look at that. We're gonna go ahead and move on to something different. The question I oftentimes get from trainees is, can we haul cars? Absolutely, you can definitely broker a car. I mean, you can broker that cow. Quite honestly, there's nothing that's stopping you from doing that. But whatever if it ships, it moves, we can definitely take care of that. So the vehicles here, they don't have photos. Photos are always great because it really lets you know what you're dealing with. I mean, you got this Ford Mustang. You can go in there, see what kind of details they give you. I mean, a Ford Mustang is a Ford Mustang, sure, but what kind of Ford Mustang? I mean, are we talking about the Cobra, or are we talking about just, a regular Mustang? Are we talking about, an older vehicle? Or are we talking about something newer? Like, what really are we talking about here? We don't know because they don't have any description, nor do they have any photo. And for that matter, nobody's really quoted on this. And we wouldn't either. We would definitely start to prompt all kind of questions like, hey, what is it? What's going on? Can you present a photo before we want to place our quote? And that's important because once you place your quote, which you do on the right hand side over here, you can place your minimum quote amount or your maximum, should I say, and then your minimum. And what that does is it puts your maximum immediately out there, saying $5,000 is what I would bid for this run. And if somebody else were to come in and say, "Oh, well, I'll do 4,500," and you're sleeping, you're not awake, you're not here, you're away, your minimum bid would automatically kick in. It'll come down, I think, like $50 below what the opponent had bidded. So if they said, 4,500, then yours would come down to like 4,450, right, and so on and so forth, all the way down to 4,000 until they just bid you out. You're priced out. So that's how the maximum and the minimum bids work. But in this, we wouldn't even place one because once you do, they have the option to accept it. And if they accept the bid and you don't have all the information that you need, they pay their services directly to Shipley because the shipper has to pay Shipley for being able to use the services. And then you must invoice the customer directly. Now, of course, if you're working with Chronicle Freight, we take care of that for you. But once you invoice the customer is when you then begin to do your business with them. Now, if they accept your quote and it's not where you want it to be, or it's not accurate, or they then add more stuff on top of it afterward, and then you have to cancel it, it then becomes negative upon you, and then Shipley would end up canceling your account. So that's something certainly to be cautious for, which the only thing you need to do is make sure you ask all the questions necessary before taking the shipment, or in other words, placing the quote. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back here. We're not going to look into placing a quote on this one, but just kind of fiddling through. I don't have any examples already ready or anything, but just to kind of give the idea of what it's like to get on here and start to look at freight and see what you can bid on. Now, here's a pallet, definitely flatbed type of material, more so suited for a dry van. So you might want to look for a box truck or something like this for that. But it's 32 miles. It's not going very far, and it's one pallet, right? So something like this we can easily bid on. Right now, if you're looking at the hotshot quoting template that we use, you'll find that a 32 mile run like this. Let me see if I can pull it up. Nope, not that easy. Give me just one moment. Yeah, just off the top of my head, with that kind of mileage, 32 miles, um, in that region, it's probably going to be about $650 to make that move. Off the top of my head, let's see. So again, it picks up in South Bend, Indiana, right? Which is going to be over here in Region 3. right? Indiana correlates out actually with region two, right? So it's going to be region two. And over here from region two, this load is only going 30 miles, right? So the rate would actually be 550, right? So I would quote on this one 550. I'm confident in that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Now, if we're talking about what my minimum is, I'm not gonna go below 500, right? Just to be on that safe side, I don't want to go below 500. We want to make sure we get this done. Now, if I can't find a drive-in, I can find a flatbed to get in there and move this as a partial, or even move it dedicated for maybe about 400 bucks, maybe even 375, right? At which point I could be making a $100, $125 profit off of this load. So I'm gonna go ahead and place this. I don't even have questions really, right? Because they've got the photo of what it is they have. It's very straightforward where it picks up, where it delivers to, the mileage. There's really not much to ask here. They've got all the information we need. So we're gonna go ahead and just place that quote. And because I'm the first one, I'm actually gonna place it at 600, right? With my minimum at 5. And place quote. All right. Now that once the quote gets placed, Cronus Fratus is listed right here as a shipping company. And here's our quote amount. Now, if somebody were to come in here later on and say, oh, no, I can do it at 550, ours is going to kick back in at 525. If they have a minimum, so on and so forth, all the way down until one of us gets priced out. Okay. Now, if you don't have access to our hot shot quoting template, which if you don't come over to chroniclefreight.com and get signed up with us as a broker, and you're not too sure, or even if you are, and maybe the quote comes out a little higher than what was expected, higher than what you want to really quote for that. Then what you can also do is go directly over to truckstop.com, the load board, and find out what the competition is like. Find out what it would be like to try and move that load inside of the same area to see what anybody else might have. Right. So, say I'm gonna pull up a search of, I said that was what, South Bend, Indiana. Okay, now it's gonna move slow. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna just use as a generic example of what we already have up here as a search. So, say you have a load that's picking up in, yeah, we have a Kentucky to Nevada. Probably not going to be a lot of options here, but let's see. No, it's not even moving. How about this one? Sacramento 21. Let me just reload my page. See how that works. Okay. Well, this is taking a bit longer than what anticipated, but I think you get the gist. To go over to truckstop.com to enter in that location, that lane, right? In this case, that's South Bend, Indiana, or Mishawaka, Indiana. Excuse me for anybody who might live in the area if I just butchered that. Going down to Bourbon, Indiana, right? You can look at that lane to see how much that type of freight is generally going for on the load board. This thing is still loading. Strange. Okay. So that's it, right? That's how you're going on shipley.com and placing your quotes to try to win those bids, putting it on the load board, um, and trying to find a carrier to move that load for you. Maybe we'll be lucky. All right. So I'm gonna still just keep it simple. I'm not gonna type it all in there, but say it was picking up in Los Angeles and going, I don't know, anywhere in California. Um, you have the Bakersfield to Eureka Lane. That's where's the mileage at? 546 miles. Say you had a load that was similar to this, right? And you were to place a quote, 4,500 pounds. Let's say it was, 20 feet, somewhere around there. Let's say you bid it at $900, 850. And then you looked on the boards and you seen that, something Bakersfield to Eureka, Ontario to Oakland, which is generally the same area, Oakland and Ontario compared to Bakersfield to Eureka, generally the same areas. Both of these are on the board at $500 and they are with different brokers. So that's reasonably that, it's a competitive type of a lane. that you can be able to get that load off if you had one for 550, even 600, without having to really fight other brokers to get your load off to the carrier. And if you were able to book that load at 850, 875, 900, what have you, and you got it off on the load boards at 600, 550, well, you could do the math. There's your profit and so forth. So that's how you use the load boards to really adjust your quotes to make sure that you're in line. So that way you can certainly get that load off. And it also works the other way as well. Say you're under your bid, say you're under where you should be for getting that load off. If you were to come to the load boards and you see that, the general or the average rate for a load that's going in that general lane or just leaving that area where your load picks up, period, say those rates are on average, $300, $400 more than where you currently are for your quote, well, then you certainly know you need to come up, because if you put that load on the board and their loads are on the board on average $300, $400 more than yours is, carriers are going to be calling those brokers first, unless they just really need to go wherever yours is delivering to try to get their load. So this is how you use use truckstop.com or any other load board in conjunction with shipley.com or any other bidding platform or shipper directory in order to really get the most accurate quote, or to tailor fit it from the hotshot quoting template. If this comes out too high, or if it comes out too low, which most of the time it comes out a little higher than what you would want, sometimes what you would want it to be. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up from there. Again, this is Sean with Chronicle, the training manager for both our freight brokerage and trucking company. Come on by to chroniclefreight.com or chroniclelogistics.com. Reach out to us by message or give us a call, and we're always here to assist you. Thank you very much.